Broadband's filter model. The concept is selective attention. We filter out irrelevant information. So people could focus on one audio message while ignoring others, suggesting that we can selectively process information. So this is something very common, like, so you can see that there are lots of sound in the room, but I decide what to hear and what not to hear. So that selection I am making, this is something that is being said here, that I am always making that selection to hear something and not to hear something, ignore something, isn't it? So if you try to listen very carefully, you can see lots of sound. Even the AC is running and it has a sound. This light might also be flickering and it might have a sound, isn't it?
We say that as hearing and listening.
Yeah. So hearing is there, but listening is only when we are paying attention to that, and we are paying attention selectively. So attention acts like a filter to block distraction. So explains why background noise distracts some people, and this is used in designing workshops, classrooms and apps to minimize distractions, and how to remove the distractions. Next is Piaget's conservation task. So cognitive development stages in the children. So the study is like children were shown two identical glasses of water, then one was poured into a taller glass. Younger children thought the taller glass had more water, unable to understand the conservation. So by the size, it appears to be bigger. So children's thinking progresses through stages. Young children are not capable of logical thinking until a certain stage. So guides, teaching aids, teaching methods for children at different ages helps parents and educators understand the age appropriate tasks. So with age, how they can learn, to what extent they can learn. So this is something which is being taken care of, right? And we just have to observe it. You just see the font size for books of children. What is the font size? Very big size, lots of pictures, colorful pages, right? And what is the font size of your thesis? Times New Roman. Right? And there also, if you are reading something from the net, it is very small, you try to enlarge it with your fingers and then read. So when you are designing books for children, it has to have multiple colors, big size of fonts, images of animals and all those things, so that the children are able to pay attention to that. If you provide a novel kind of thing to the student, to the child will not feel interested in studying it. Even when they are making this creches, the creche, no? So you will see that they will have lot of images of animals on the walls, and very colorful walls, right? And interior design is also working on making this creche as much attractive as possible. Then problem solving and insight. Kohler's insight learning with chimps. So the insight problem solving is there, sudden realization of solution. So chimpanzees were given tasks requiring tools to get bananas. They suddenly solve problems by using tools creatively. So even chimpanzees and animals can do that. So problem solving sometimes occurs through sudden insight, not just trial and error. That you can see. One experiment was conducted in India only, and that was not something published, but somebody shared on the social media. That one person, what he did, like there was a colony, and colony had a boundary wall. In the boundary wall there was a hole. So this person, what he did, he placed a computer on the side of the building, just by the boundary wall in front of the hole, and on the other side of the boundary wall there was a slum area. So children used to play there, and he just kept the computer on with the keyboard and mouse, and he found that very soon the students learned how to open particular app like Word file, how to type, no training was required. Just by fluke they learnt all that. So learning can happen as simple as this also. So problem solving sometimes occurs through sudden insight, not just trial and error. So explains how people often have sudden aha moments when solving puzzles or work problems. It's used in education to promote creative thinking and brainstorming. See, when we are working out that crossword, no, then in the newspaper we daily get a crossword. And you just see, you are mapping 3 to 4 words, isn't it? And suddenly all of them fit together. And that is an aha moment. Yes, I could do this. Language acquisition. So Chomsky's criticism of Skinner's language theory. So language is an innate cognitive ability rather than just learned through reinforcement. So he argued that children's rapid language development can't be explained solely by imitation of or rewards, suggesting an inborn language acquisition device. So language learning involves innate cognitive mechanisms. So the practical implication, like it supports teaching approaches that encourage natural language exposure in early childhood, highlights the importance of early childhood education. So how does the child learn a language? Isn't it? Pardon? Yeah. I went to a person's house in Bangalore, and this person was working in an MNC in Bangalore. He had wife from South America, some Brazil or somewhere, and he had a daughter 5 or 6 years old. So his daughter, when she had to speak to her mother, she will speak in the South American language. When she had to speak to her father, she will speak in Kannada. When she is going to school, she will speak in English. And when I was there, she was talking to me in Hindi. You will just observe that a child by itself learns about 5,000 words by the age the child is 5 or 6 years old. It's only that we are not aware. The child is able to make out the meaning of so many sounds. If you are grumbling in the house, the child is able to make out that mother is not happy today. And you also see that if there are certain occasions when parents fight or they are somewhat distraught, and the child senses that something wrong is going to happen, right? So the child may come to you and place the fingers on your mouth. Please don't speak. Let this person speak, but you at least keep silent. Otherwise my life is going to be hell. So the child is able to make out so many things. Your language, your expression on the face, the various signals that you give when you are happy or unhappy, when you are busy or you are at rest. The child is able to articulate. Only that we are not figuring it out like an experiment, but if you try to figure out, just try to note how many words the child is able to speak. Okay. We have generally found that there are certain chores in the house which can be done by the child better. For example, if you have to pour water into the these plants every day, you might forget, but you assign this task to the child will remember. In fact, we were having one workshop in Kanpur, and one family had come from Raipur. So husband and wife had come and they had brought a child, and they were planning to send the child to his grandmother's house before they came, but somehow it could not materialize, so they had to bring the child. So they were very apologetic when they came. They said that, see, the workshop was taking place in somebody's farmhouse, and there were lots of birds in the cages there, and lots of greenery was there. So they were very apologetic that, see, we could not send this child to the grandmother, right? And we had to bring him, but he's very naughty and he will disturb you throughout the workshop. So please apologize us for this. Let us see what happens. And you could see that he was really naughty. The moment he entered the campus, he started kicking the cages of birds, right? Plucking flowers, all those started. Then we had the introductory session as we have in the workshop in the beginning. Generally when we had the 8 days workshop, the first session was for introduction of each other, and generally family used to come. So we would have elaborate introduction, right? So everybody was getting introduced and this child was not getting introduced. So he came to the center of the circle where we were sitting and started doing something. That only meant that he wanted introduction. So we introduced that, yes, he is Mr. Abhin, he has come from Raipur, they are his parents, right? And then he got settled, yes, I am introduced now. Then it was break time, and again his naughtiness started. Then what to do? Then we thought that we should be assigning some tasks to him. So he said that, okay, you have 2 tasks at hand and you have to do that. He said, what is that? So when people enter the hall of the workshop, they generally put their slippers here and there. And we find that if we are not at peace with ourselves, the distance between our 2 slippers would be very large. when we are taking out and randomly placed. When we are settled, then our slippers would also be settled, right? So he was given the task that you have to make sure that everybody puts slippers in the right place in the right manner, right? And second thing was that after the break, people did not used to come on time. It is your job to put them in the hall back on time. So he will stand by the door, make everybody put the slippers in the right manner. Then we will move with the bell around, right? And ask everyone to be in the hall. And during lunch break, if somebody was sleeping, he will ring the bell in the ears. And this happened for all the 7 or 8 days.
But
Then
we are not trained as machines. We are not machines. We are humans. So we commit mistakes.
he was reminding that you are human. You have to be on time.
The shame of a
So on the last day when they had to leave, then we generally have meeting with the parents to plan the program ahead. So we had a meeting. So we said that, okay, Abhin, what is your program? So his parents told that he has 2 major issues. One is that he does not complete his homework on time, and I am always getting complaint from the teachers. The second issue is that he watches television too much. That was way back in 90s. He watches television too much. Then he said, okay, Abhin, what would the program with you now? So he committed that now, before sleeping, he will be completing his homework. And he will be watching television only for 1 hour every day. He committed it. Then after 3 to 4 months, we went to Raipur and then met his family and then asked Abhin, how is your program going on? Are you doing it consistently or not? He said, I am very consistent, but my parents are not consistent. So he says that I want to complete my homework before sleeping, but they will take me to a marriage party. And they will say that we will be back by 9 o'clock and they will come by 11 o'clock. You see, how can I complete my homework on time? And then he said that I watch television only for 1 hour and they will send me to the other room, the study room, and they will watch till midnight. Right? And that is making noise in my room also. You see, I have got discipline, my parents are not disciplined. So child can learn very fast, and we have to see how the child learns. In fact, with this kind of input, when we are not only talking about the language learning or skill learning, we are also talking about the value set. What values can be imbibed in the child right from childhood. The way we have been saying, that it starts with copying, and then gradually obeying, and then so anusaran, anukaran. By going by that process, how the child can have definite conduct. So this is only limited to language learning. In fact, the whole conduct can be ensured if you are rightly inculcating the child, the values in the child. Then cognitive bias and decision making. So people use mental shortcuts, heuristics that can lead to biases in decision making. So participants made systematic errors in judgment, such as overestimating probabilities based on recent events, which is the availability heuristic. So the key finding is that people often rely on quick mental shortcuts that may lead to flawed decisions. So generally, in place of analyzing in detail, we just say yes or no to a particular decision. Do that. And then when the outcome is not favorable, then we try to analyze it. So the implication that it is used in marketing to influence consumer decisions helps individuals become aware of cognitive biases in daily decisions, like overestimating risks from media coverage. So the summary of all that is placed here. So many experiments have been conducted, like memory and forgetting, multi-store memory, working memory, selective attention, cognitive development, problem solving, language acquisition, decision making biases. So these are applications. And you see that mostly the psychology theories have been utilized for either production or marketing or governance, how people come to observe things and how we can utilize this for these purposes. Nice. So the conclusion is that cognitive psychology explains many mental processes such as memory, attention, problem solving, learning and decision making using scientific experiments. And these studies not only shape psychology but also the everyday applications in education, work productivity, parenting, consumer behavior, emotional well-being.
I differ in the word cognitive bias. How cognition can have bias? Because it is a way getting a decision or by
It told me that when you have to make a decision, sometimes you get biased by shortcuts.
how it is
Yeah.
called as cognitive bias?
Pardon?
There won't then how it is called as cognitive bias? Read it, sir.
This one. So for example, people of
Cognition should not have bias.
then nothing like should or shouldn't. See, you are getting biased.
Then how it is connected to cognition? Cognition means everything is we are highly knowledgeable and we are taking
Not knowledge. Cognition means reasoning, analyzing and comparing. That could be based on false basis of comparing.
Reason can go wrong.
For example, if your this comparing is profit biased, you may make a wrong decision.
Cognition is more.
Yeah. If it is only analyzing and comparing.
it is by our previous experiences, previous whatever we have.
Conditionings. And there also, if the basis for comparing is not justice, not harmony, not coexistence, it is merely profit, health or senses, then we tend to make wrong decisions.